Hi everybody, here we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
It's October the 3rd, 2016. I'm Dana Durnford, your host, the nuclear proctologist.org, and we are live tonight at Beautiful Girl by Dana on YouTube, and we are just gonna bang right into it. The Geiger counter is live, and just like us, we are ready to rock, ready to roll, hopping, bopping. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get it on. Let's talk about the craziness of academics around this planet not considering the implications for Fukushima, and we are well on that. This is a pickup from the video a few videos ago where I was showing pictures of the coastline of British Columbia, Canada. And I'm supposed to be in this video for some reason. I'm not. Oh, I'm supposed to be right here. Okay, don't worry about it. So we're going to start off. And you remember some of these pictures, the two-legged starfish. We're right up in that spot, but we didn't finish off the pictures that night. And I'll whoop myself into the video when I get my act together. What have I got done to us that fast? Okay, I went to the wrong one. Let's keep going. I'll get it in a second. Okay, so the Kuroshio current could rapidly carry radioactivity into the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And I know what's on the zoom or the fade. Here you go. So this map is the tsunami. It's all over the internet again today. And it's viral, is what I mean by that. And everybody's showing that as if that's actually got something to do with this, which is actually the map of NOAA, radioactive dispersal. But this is the NOAA of the tsunami. So everybody's thinking that that has something, when that is easily available. And this is on purpose. And this is why we see no life on the coastline of British Columbia, Canada. Now, when you look at the tidal zones or the coast of British Columbia, then you would expect to see something like that. And something like that is never, ever, forever and ever going to show up back there on that shoreline. Now, what you're looking at now is a lecture I'll be doing in my community. This is a flyer that'll be posted throughout the community tomorrow. These will be laminated. And so even if you don't go to the lecture, one of two coming up in the next 3 weeks. The first one's 75 people, next one's 400. And what we're going to do is wake up the planet, and we're going to keep going with these lectures throughout the communities. And so anybody can take a cell phone capture of this very high quality poster that'll be going. Now, I already have one place booked, and the big place, I have 3 choices. I'm going to look at the other 2 tomorrow and figure out which one is best. That'll happen a week after this lecture. And the idea is that they can't get away from it if they read the poster. And my radio show is coming. I'll be on the radio Sunday here in town with another DJ. And it's full on from here on out. The reason being is I have done the whole coastline. Now, the ocean currents take about 45 days to cross to cross the Pacific. And I'm just going to try this and see if I can get myself to pop up, because that other one is just giving me a hard time. Let's put me down there. Okay. So I'm going to try to get that one for the Geiger counter. Hang on. It doesn't... I must have it moved or something. Hang on. I don't know why. It won't show up. But too late. Here we go. Let's keep rocking. Now, these pictures from my last stream, and we'll get started. Canada suspended the mobile radiation right away within the first 2 weeks. They moved a major detection equipment to interior British Columbia to Kelowna in about 2 weeks after the accident. And the whole coastline... So China, all samples contain strontium-90. How is everybody in the comments section? Let's make sure that's working. Okay, we're still having a hard time with something, but this works. Hi, everybody. We'll come back over in a little tiny bit. We want to keep rocking and rolling, keep the audience ticking. Now, these are all choice pictures. There's around 350 that I picked out of that 2,000 plus lot I took from that same area. I showed you the GPSs of it at the start of this. I'll come back to that. Radiation test on dead and diseased seals in Alaska, suffering bleeding, lesions and hair loss, 2011, December. But see, the coastline has just that one species. There's two different colors we see all the time, the red and the purple, and then the green sea anemones and this handful of algae. Now, what it should look like on that coastline is stuff like this. This is what you would expect to see. You would expect to see this highly visible everywhere you went, yeah? So we'll keep flashing back and forth to keep you on track. And that picture you're looking at now will really resonate for you as you see a bunch of these headlines showing up. Let's keep rolling. We'll be on the Jeff Rince's radio show tonight at 9 p.m., about 3 hours from the stream, Pacific Standard Time. Radiation tests on their way on dead and diseased seals in Alaska. Suffer, bleeding, lesions, hair loss, puppies, everything's starving to death because there's not anything to eat. So even if you can't get fish, normally they would just come ashore and eat that. See, come there and put their face down and start chomping on that or this, right? But when they got there, these are from Louise Narrows in British Columbia. It was naked. So the fish are still there, but not what they're like. The sardines, herrings, the anchovies, the krill are literally exterminated in less than 5 years. Frightening. But we are about to wake up this entire community I'm in a whole different way. So look how naked it is. Now here was where we found, out of the whole coastline, a spot with about 7,000 birds. And we meandered through that and played those videos. They were mostly the murres. And then the murres, the bird die-off. Let me bring that up. Okay, don't let me bring that up. The scientists, West Coast birds die-off is biggest ever recorded. Stomach completely empty. Staggering, alarming, unheard of. Never seen anything like it. Unprecedented in scope and size and duration. Deaths could reach many hundreds of thousands and a host of other freakish phenomenons. 2016. The scientists think the Gulf of Alaska seabird die-off is the biggest ever recorded. Yeah, because when they came ashore, there was nothing to eat. Right? And that spot had around 7,000, which is as much birds as I've seen in the 15,000 miles total of the coastline that we done over 260 days was in this one spot. And that was last It was done on this island 10th of August 2015, I think it was. I think August was the month. The rest of it is correct. But see, the birds couldn't eat nothing because there was nothing there. That's why they starved to death. This is lots of dispersal models. The government refuses to provide funds to research Fukushima effects. Virtually zero monitoring. Now, the reason that they done that is really obvious. It's really obvious. And West Coast hit with 220 million now atoms. So if you have 5 atoms on the nuclear waste side, on material, gloves, or anything else, clothing, they package it up as nuclear waste. That's why Germany shut down everything right away, because they can no longer control their environment after Japan. And France was doing it as 17. So when 220 million atoms, how many liters of water falls on your property when it rains constantly like it did after this? I wonder. So Germany would package your property. Everything on North America should be dug up and taken to a nuclear waste site. Every building should be razed. Let me keep going. And so the birds die off. They never, and we're going to break this down. At least 25 seabird mortality events. So the common thick-billed murres, they can dive 600 feet in salt water. Let's keep burning. Let's get through everything. Now, so normally they would see that and they would eat anything. They wouldn't starve. Now, those birds never had nothing in their stomach. Not even the microscopic animals. And that, we'll read some of those headlines again coming up in a little tiny bit as we burn through this. This is pictures of the coastline that I took last year on 5 expeditions. This is all from the one spot. There could be hot spots under the sea. Says Tokyo, no telling when the contamination levels will peak 2012. And a third of the fish caught in a lake were over their maximum of cesium. They weren't checking for other isotopes, and there is no maximum. As soon as it got an atom, if you ingest the atom 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, you got a cancer. And so these are one of a handful of species of birds we found on the coastline. We never found a lot of them, but up here, altogether, we found around 7,000 birds. But the coastline was naked. They were feeding on bait fish. Bait fish are still surviving in certain parts. We seen the whales were feeding on them up at Cape Scott when we were there. This was the bullheads. It wasn't sardines or herring or anchovies or squid or something. It was. I put the cameras on their water, but anyway. We'll cover that, I'm sure, in videos in the future. Now, and pictures are up at my website, thenuclearproctologist.org. You can see there's nothing here that would resemble what it normally would look like on the coastline. The rocks would be just extremely vibrant, covered in life, just amazing diversity, incredible, inconceivable. Like unbelievable coastline, wherever you went. It was just a smorgasbord of life, enough to feed the entire planet. And it's not there no more. I'll get it at some time. Or not. Let's keep going. That one. And bring up that one. Let's keep banging through these. Abalone liver. Now, an abalone is a single shell, like a clam, except it's like $50 a kilogram or something. And so these are deadly doses. 10, 20 years down the road, they'll get you just for eating a kilogram in a short period. Let alone a few bear quills will catch you 20, 30, 40, 50. But if you're eating it all the time, if you're drinking it, breathing it like we are, you can see the coastline. Now, that kelp is disgusting kelp in the water. We'll show you pictures. The whole coastline was like it. The west coast of British Columbia, Canada. And just to give you a better concept before we move back, I done the whole coastline, 260 days, 15,000 miles, yeah? So I know a thing or two. Okay. Dana. That way. This way. So the coastline is naked except for a handful of species. It's the same species you see everywhere. Typically, you find less than a dozen, no matter where you to. These are all a bunch of islands. These are a bunch of islands. And how come? Just 1 second, see if I can get this sorted out. I don't know why I can't bring up. I don't know why I can't bring up me and the other one. Let me reset it. Now I got two me's. That can't be good. Hang on. That's good. Okay. We'll fight with it later. Who knows? I'm supposed to be able to zoom in on that bird. I put a lot of work into it so I can do it and not ask him much. Okay, I got it. Not what it's supposed to be, but oops. Yeah, we tried that, yeah? Hey, buddy. He was by himself. I'll try zooming on that one. I can move that. Do it the hard way. So he's hard pressed to find something to eat. Look at him with his feet crossed. He's going to make a turn. He's not going to fly away. He's just going to keep, he's looking. And there's another way to do that. Dana, keep going. The Geiger counter, once again. Blood of a gun. I'm giving everybody a hard time when I switch formats. Let's see what happens next. Oh, I know why that is happening. So look how naked that coastline is compared to what you should see. How gorgeous that is. Like we're right up on the beach. We don't see nothing there. So the picture on the left is the one I took. The one on the right is pre-Fukushima in the same spot. This is in the same spot. See those white sea anemones? They should cover everything at the low tide. All kinds of sea anemones should be there, but let's keep boogieing. Otherwise, we'll digress. We'll come over and say hi to everybody. Hopefully. Everything's backwards for me tonight. Hi, everyone. Hi, Stetson. Shanikin. By the way, Shanikin's moderating, folks, and it's a tough job. Nobody... Hi, Thomas. Thomas is up. Thomas got shafted trying to do a exposition in Ontario. And he's an amazing artist, a very accomplished artist, a very well-known artist. And because it was about Fukushima. So you should check out his site. You'll find links below my channel. Hi, CJ. Kiss me. Elena's doing, I got off track. Elena's doing the moderating, and we so appreciate it. And she has free reign with it. And she's not just going to get rid of somebody for nonsense. She knows the difference. And so it takes an enormous weight off me and allows us to have this conversation. Hi, Fuka, Nathan, Pam, Karen, everybody. We're going to keep moving because we got to do the radio show. We're still early. We're still doing really good. I'm Thirst. Candace is out there And thank you, Amthor. She's such a sweetie, Deb. God bless you, sweetie. She's such an amazing musician, too, folks. Jan Brooks is here with number 1. And she got the Miss Milky the Clown without the 1, 2 that she uploads to. And there's a 5-year history of Fukushima nuclear. Hi, everybody. Paul, anybody I miss is nothing I can do about it. Mac again. Is this a social site? No. Does it look like a social site? It is about Fukushima, a social site, if you're interested in that stuff. Hi, everybody. It's YouTube where we're having a stream, eh? Just make sure I say hi to everybody very quick. Okay. Censor, hi, bud. Hi, everybody. Yeah, let's keep moving. Boom, 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 boom. TV total propaganda. Oh, boy. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Media player 2. Oh, yeah, there it is. Let's keep going. So instead of looking like that, it looks like that at best. That's good. That's good. That's a lot of life for anywhere on the coastline, but keep watching. Groundwater likely source. Complete melt through. Not surprising. Discharges continue 2011, December. Groundwater is come in contact with the fissionable products. And then there's an enormity to this that people don't understand. I'm not going to try to explain tonight, but the naked coast you're looking at is the most shocking thing imaginable. This is British Columbia, Canada. Researchers found cesium-147, 37 over 50 million times normal. There would have been 100 times more strontium-90. This model is only based upon a couple of days' releases from a single reactor. It's not based upon the fact that each reactor melted down. And it's based over, I think this model is over 10 years ultimately. But see, this excludes the fact of the jet streams and the ocean current, the way it actually does work. This was meant to pacify people. It was only based upon a couple of days' releases. It wasn't based upon 6 reactor cores missing in 4 buildings, in each of the 4 buildings. These starfish are the last starfish on the planet in British Columbia. And everything else is already... Now, the 4.2 million other species didn't recede the coastline. That's what makes that unique. And government dumping radioactive material directly into the bay, and contaminating the seaweed found in the area, of course. You're going to see some shocking pictures coming up of the seaweed. See, look at this coastline. Look how amazing that looks. Look how gorgeous that is. Now, I go out at the low tide. And so when I was taking these pictures, obviously it's low tide. That's where you got to go to find if there's any life left whatsoever. You can't sleep in, you can't miss it, you can't make a mistake. You got to get out there. And I'm not hanging offshore like this all the time. This is just transitions where I take these pictures. Because we're talking about 26,000 islands. So the picture is meant to tell me where I'm to when I'm looking at it a year later or 2 years later, you know. And I'm doing a documentary. The documentary is basically done. I'm refining it. I'm pretty happy. Definitely not me, but it's a good documentary. Because I don't profess to be an expert. So, like, you get the faraway shots, the context, right? So you got context. So to the left of that would be that. And then when I got in close, and the lonely starfish, the same colors throughout the whole coastline, just those 2 colors. They're barely hanging on. They're highly damaged. We've seen the 2-legged one at the very beginning, that same species. There is around 5 species left on the coastline. We do have a tally of the coastline. And the tally looks like this. Then I want to make it big enough for anybody to read. And that's also on my poster. These are the final tallies of what I found throughout the entire coastline. The rough estimate. We're doing an actual... we've done an actual count. I'm through it now. I got to update all this before the documentary, but it's worse than this, what we got here. We got to take numbers off this, basically. And that was just a quick boo for everybody that's not familiar with those numbers. These are the numbers after 260 days and 15,000 miles. Now, I've done other expeditions this year, by the way, but we're not counted up in that, okay? I'll get it. Hang on. There. Let's keep moving. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope the audio's great. Yeah, very telling pictures. And what was the headline? Nope. Industry Insider. Fukushima spent fuel but was damaged and released fission products leading to a fire. Wow, really? Has anybody actually seen a picture? I'll show you the pictures maybe if you want to, but just keep looking at the pictures of the coastline. Because these are the choice pictures. I picked there something over 300 of them. I got to go now and whittle that down to 5 or 6. That's what I got to do for each spot. You've seen the spots I've done, the whole coastline, all right? I'll bring up that depiction for everybody again. Oh, yeah, there it is. Because it's... So once again, we didn't see that on the coastline in a single spot. And we took our time. We went up on the rocks ourselves. And everywhere we went had a little zodiac, right? That was up in Louise Narrows. And so we done the whole coastline, yeah? And those arrows are just representations of all this, of those areas. They're huge areas. And 5 months by myself at one point. And then I've done the entire west coast, open ocean by myself. Just that feat alone is staggering when you think about it. And we've done it all in a big dinghy. And we're with a little dinghy up on the beach. And let's keep rocking. This is what we expect to see. This is like 14,000 hours underwater. I'm not guessing about anything. I need to go see my old cronies, my old friends, the ocean, the coastline. And even in the most weirdest spots, still not seeing nothing. Scary problems in California coast, maybe no food anywhere along the Pacific except in isolated areas. It's like a crime scene investigation in oceans. That's what I've been doing, basically. Certainly, Fukushima is one of the stresses to sea life. Dolphins, whales, more likely to be bathed in radiation, yeah? No, of course the air will burn through the rest of it. These are pictures of the coastline I took. It's naked. We have an extinction event. Scientists are surprised by high levels of radioactive silver and fish off the Japanese coast, because that's about the ongoing chain reaction. Seems like iodine. And then the lawyer says it's safe. There's no safe level, folks. That's why we have terrorist laws and we have nuclear holding sites, folks. Seriously, there's no safe level. Don't believe these people. For goodness sakes, please, I'm begging you, don't believe these people that is like a banana and a potato chips. My goodness, just whatever you do, don't eat the fish out of the Pacific Ocean. Whatever's left is highly contaminated and it's on its way out. And you will be too if you keep eating it. You have to stop eating it. Don't feed it to your loved ones. Don't trick them into eating it. For goodness sakes, don't eat anything out of the Pacific Ocean. Eat something out of the Atlantic, even though that's not safe either, but still, the Pacific is brutal. Got a coat and seafloor with cement mixture because the rods went out into the ocean. They're right in the ocean. It's unbelievable. It's inconceivable that has happened. That's why they went out there and cemented the ocean floor. They never cleaned up the tsunami debris on the ocean floor before they went out and poured cement over it. If those couple of species disappear, it'll be like the moon. It's not going to last, whatever's there. We can't even stop the reactors. 1,500 microsievers per hour. If there was one microsiever an hour, you should run away and report it to authorities. 1,500? Yeah, not cool. It's horrible to think about it, that children are going to school in that stuff. Not for distribution, internal use only. Energy Department estimated Fukushima released 10,000 times larger than the nuclear regulatory predicted. Supercore, because of the mixed oxide fuel in reactor number 3. It was 2 million times worse than any other reactor on the planet. These things they knew about this. They're using supercore because that's 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. It's atomizing, aerosoling, and consuming everything. So look at that kelp. Now you see those rings? Those white rings. And so that kelp is actually in pretty good shape compared to everything else I'm going to show you. IAEA to monitor radioactive substances 7,000 kilometers from Fukushima in the seas off Sri Lanka. Yeah, because the jet streams are real. And because, you'll see as we go through this stuff. And we're going to burn through those because I got a lot of them over here in this pile. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use. So I took everything that was clean, basically, and put it in the pile we're looking at tonight. From the 2000 pictures. Everything that I thought was a good depiction. Models show greater potential impact to the U.S. West Coast from the rainfall containing Fukushima radioactive material. Okay. And the reason being because, oh my God. Camera 3? Yeah, camera 3. And the reason being, hi Karen, hi everybody. And the reason being is because 220 million atoms, right? That hits. So the clouds come in originally and never stop coming in. But when they came in originally really heavy with rain, what they do is they hit the Rocky Mountains, and because they're low and heavy with rain, and then they lose their payloads. But meanwhile, they're distributed right across the country. But when they finally hit the Rockies, they lose most of their payloads to get over the Rockies. And what happens here is that it can turn to snow ammonia and everything else, right? And it'll lose its load in cold conditions. But that stuff eventually melts, and it all runs back to the coastline, where I got all the pictures and where all the kelp and seaweed and all the habitat, the nursery of the Pacific Ocean is too. We're doing really good. 6:30. We're still rocking. So 220 million atoms. This is in the. There's no dirty bomb out there can touch that. You can't make a dirty bomb that can do this. It's not possible. You couldn't gather it up and put it in. You have to gather it up, and like a pound of it will kill you in a minute if you got it close to you. Of the rods after they've gone through a chain reaction. Keep them in water because otherwise it kill everything around them. And it'll go into a chain reaction and melt down if it's not surrounded by water for the first decade or two. Let's keep going. But see, because there's so much came through, right? Yeah? Woo! Let's keep going. California seawater, blah. Iodine 131, 10 times more iodine 132, 30 times more iodine 133, 31 times more iodine 129, typically produced in the chain reaction of those of that fuel. And so they ionize and radiate your thyroid glands 9 times more effectively than the 131. But the reactors run on uranium plutonium, not iodine. But iodine means, with such a short half-life, that it was a chain reaction, is ongoing. So what was the date on that? 2014. So that meant a chain reaction was ongoing. And so these are huge numbers to find in the seaweed because it had to happen within the last 8 days to get the iodine 131 in 2014. Right? And this is what I mean by the ongoing chain reaction, where it's constantly in super critical modes in a meltdown at 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. Talk about do your burger in a hurry. Look how bad the kelp looks. A radioactive plume map shows Fukushima contamination headed to Hawaii. Yeah? But what was the date on that? March 16, 2012. Well, it only takes 45 days for it to cross the ocean. 5 miles per hour, 24 hours a day times 45 days is 5,500 miles. And all the kelp on the coastline that looks like that, the bull kelp. Now, I was a commercial diver, 14,000 hours underwater, and all the kelp across the entire Canada to have that happen to it. And we got the documentation of it. Up to 1 billion becquerels of iodine 131 in the seaweed, which 2012, the chain reaction was ongoing. See? In 2012. So it's not like it was a single plume coming out of the reactors. It was an endless plume coming out of those reactors. So look at the seaweed, raggedy. Just disgusting looking, yeah? Look at that headline up in the corner up there. Very frightening. Only person reporting on Fukushima found dead. And he had left a message that I want you to know, quote on TV, that I will never commit suicide. No obituary, strange nuclear message is shown on the air, yeah? The kelp is dead across the country. That's the last of it. The big kelp to disappear out of the 700 algae, 600 to 700, depending on where you're to. Up there, you would expect at least 600. So you had the polar bears back in 2012. Government testing for radiation, 3 or 4 captured. And this is what they were seeing happening with the seals. Now, seals and the sea lions were dying throughout the coastline. We're going to bang on the kelp for a little bit here. So look how bad the kelp is. And we got a lot of them, so we'll burn through them. Look how rotten it is. That's not healthy, see? Something very unusual occurring off the west coast of U.S., Canada. Unprecedented and historical records will drastically reduce productivity in a 6,500. No, much worse than that. You wiped out the entire coast of Canada. The abnormality extends across Pacific to Japan. Who knows what will happen, yeah? Oh, I can kind of guess. Everything going to die first, and then we're at the apex, so we're next. Plutonium contamination Pacific Ocean food chain from Fukushima now suspected. Real source of potential long-term problems for humans. And the leakage of the highly contaminated water into the sea must be dealt with immediately, yeah? That was 2014 September. I don't know why I'm hanging onto the headphones. Fiddling. Better be hanging on a cigarette. Without 7,000 chemicals. Now, your government wouldn't lie to you, would they? No, Dana, they wouldn't lie. Well, how come you got 7,000 chemicals in your cigarettes? If you ask for natural tobacco, you'll get it. But if you ask for cigarettes, you'll get 7,000 chemicals. And nobody's going to tell you the difference. And so why they've been testing nicotine for cancer for 50 years instead of the 7,000 chemicals means you got a corrupt system. And if you think they're corrupt on that side, then what's the chance they're going to be corrupt somewhere else? Not think, we know. That's a fact. 7,000 chemicals in the average cigarette. How they meant it was that. They hid that away and got jobs saying it wasn't there all their lives, decade after decade. And those pictures are from my expedition on the coastline where we see an extinction event. Leader of the Fukushima study, intense exposure headed towards U.S. West Coast. Yeah, no shit, Batman. Plume traveling very fast. Now, it's not just the plume. It never stopped going out there. Still going out there almost 6 years later. High concentrations that impact California coastal areas. Prolonged periods of radioactive upwelling expected. Oh, yeah. What they're talking about is that, because it's so small, right? It's 1/10,000th, a millionth of a meter. So the whole ocean is saturated like a snowstorm. But the stuff that do settle on the bottom is so tiny, smaller than the nutrients on the ocean floor. And so that comes up with the upwelling to feed the phytoplankton that don't even exist anymore. The bases, the food, the carbon, the oxygen chain. The biggest producer of oxygen on the planet. 50% of it. Fukushima plant plagued by problems as radioactive material bleeds into the Pacific. Bleeds. I wish. If that's all it was doing was bleeding, we'd be laughing. Oh, no. Like the whole planet was covered in the plumes that never stopped coming out. But the major plumes that originally came out, they're still circulating, still depositing, still raining out, and they will for a decade. Even if it was just a single plume come out, it would take a decade for it to rain out. Like, theoretically. It's never going to rain out anyway, theoretically also. Just with a single plume, like a detonation. These are why these people are so friggin' out of control and why they have to assault me so constantly and endlessly and use censorship tactics against me constantly and smear me in the media. Like, Dana's not scripted. No, what is this? How do you think I got all this material? Right? You're just trying to discredit you with everything. It's Boogie. 6:38. 20 minutes ago, 22 minutes ago. Tsunami debris contaminated. Because tsunami debris is floating offshore and the plumes are still coming out and they're landing on the debris. The detonations are exploding while the debris is coming back out. And the debris is not moving like the ocean itself. It's a bit slower, but it's fast. We've seen ships show up on our coastline less than a year from Japan's tsunami. And they shot them and sank them. They were covered in radiation. They were going to they went out with crews there to try to recover it, make a mint off it, cut all the aluminum off it and take the winches off it, right? But no, it was too radiated. They sunk it out there. So I'm getting ready to go around the point right now. And so all I got to do is hit my prop and kill my prop, and then I got to row back. All I got to do is hit the prop and get tangled up there on those rocks for a second, and a little swell comes in, and then I can be in trouble. Rip the boat apart or something and strand it right there. It's that simple. And if you had a solid boat, then the boat could roll right over with just a small swell coming through. Just keep rolling. Remember what the coastline is supposed to look like. Dana ever wants to bring that back up. One more second. Yeah, don't have a big crew, so you have to wait a second sometimes. But this is what the coastline should look like. That's the comparisons, yeah? She looked like above me anywhere I go on that shore. There's some zooms in for everybody. Oh, Dana, you're not zooming in, Dana. It can't be true. Jeez, I was right on the beach. It was just me playing around with the camera to show you the big scope. The whole beach is naked. It doesn't have that diversity or those colors or those species or that ecosystem, right? That diversity, that amazing, stunning, gorgeous, incredible diversity, yeah? And so these, where did I end up to that time? I went above. Keep going. Radioactive material now flowing towards Tokyo, yeah? Like it's going to stop. And contaminated there. Now we got headlines there of 500 billion becquerels kilogram or square meter. I can't remember. Cubic meter. Yeah, Tokyo's done. We got tons of headlines on Tokyo. We done show after show on Tokyo. Tokyo is definitely done. So is this ocean. That kelp there. Oh, Dana, look. Dana showed pictures of lots of kelp. Yeah, but look at it. It's rotten. It's not fit for nothing. It's very skinny on the bottom. The sea urchins are not climbing up it either. Fukushima plant plagued by problems. We've done that one. Let's keep going. Tsunami debris. Yeah, okay, that's where we left off. It came up too high. Radioactive material flowing. Dana will get it. Levels consistently rise and fall in 40-day cycles right around the entire planet through the dispersal in the air. Let's keep going. I'm not going to cover that right now. I want to show you these pictures. I got no idea what I got done there now. That one there. So I should be able to zoom in like that. And but you can see how bad it is. Totally rags. And you'll see better pictures coming up. Cesium remains dispersed throughout the water column from the surface to the ocean floor. So that would mean uranium is the same way. Plutonium is going to be the same thing. And strontium would be the same thing. That would mean that to swim through it, you're getting pulsed. So the Geiger counter reads the stuff. Let me fix that Geiger counter, whatever that's all about. Oh, I changed formats. Now it disappeared on me. I'll just let it hang right there. From the surface to the ocean floor. So it's like an invisible snowstorm, but it's like suspended like a diver in the ocean, see, because it's so tiny. So there's no way for the fish in the ocean. That's why you don't want to eat anything out of the Pacific Ocean. Nothing. In order for a fisherman to get it, even if it got no radiation, to get it to the surface, it's going to be full of radiation, see? If you drop it down and bring it back up, it's full of radiation. For Christ's sakes, don't eat the fish. Don't eat the kelp. You can get 40 million becquerels a kilogram in kelp. And we do, and we've seen that. I don't know if the numbers I'll get through it tonight, but it's there somewhere. Public health hazard from fish arrived in California waters. It's considerably more radioactive than tunas, yeah? Like, if there's radiation in tuna, can't eat the tuna. Because somebody's going to eat it, in 20, 30, 40 years, going to have to liquidate their assets. And so we'll be out doing the lectures starting in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. The first one, the next one a week behind it, and then we'll book them in other places. I'm going to try to raise enough fund doing that to cover everything else. We got a couple of weeks for the appeal. We haven't raised it anywhere near enough money. Jeff Rintz has got a spot on his page tonight. Hopefully the message will start getting out there. Hopefully the lectures will save me and I'll be able to do the appeal and get civil suits against these people. And all I can do is just keep going. I'm not going to stop no matter what. I'm just going to keep going. I'm taking a chance. I'm just going to go ahead and push it out there. I'm just going to go ahead and push. It'll be in the newspaper this week, next week here for the lectures. And then the second lecture will be able to handle 400 people. I'm pretty sure, because this town is pretty familiar at this stage, a lot of divide going on, we're going to end it. We're basically going to blow out onto the internet starting from here, and it'll just go out into all the communities from here. And so we're going to build up a resistance. We're going to build up the truth. We're going to push back like they never imagined. And they can plan and come out now and say, Dana's doing this and Dana's doing that, and you cannot stop us. You can't stop us. We're doing the moral and ethical and the right thing, and we have to do it. We should have done it earlier. We got no excuses. And so it's on from here on out. Fallout in California, thousands of times higher. See, should have banned in California. Boom. But it kept coming. It didn't stop coming. And look at it. Look at the algae throughout the whole coastline. This is what I got pictures of. You can see it at my site, thenuclearproctologist.org. Dana. At thenuclearproctologist.org, you'll find all the pictures. Dana, fix your friggin' stuff, Dana. Don't have it over to the left. That's me, Dana. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I'll get it. Let's move on. We're going to run out of time, Dana. Let's boogie. Just wanted to bring that up there anyway. Unknown how radioactive fallout in the U.S. affects marine environment. Really? Really? Well, you can't get a list of all the species because they're mostly gone. We were going to take samples of the 5,600 known species that were in the tidal zones. Right? We were going to take samples if we could find them, but we couldn't find them. They weren't there. We went there and it was naked. There was no samples. There was less than 100 species. There were the same species wherever you went. We didn't see that. We didn't see that. We didn't see behind me. We seen naked coastline. Let's keep going. Very good. Yes, very good. Let's keep moving. So the kelp is also done on the coastline. That was a year ago. It's even worse. I was out, remember, the summer. I got barred at Banfield for asking why there was only 14 species left on the coastline. As soon as you see me going, Dana Durfer, you're banned. You know, you're getting too many to do that. Radioactive sea spray has been shown to blow hundreds of kilometers inland. So the studies on salt, how the insects a couple of 100 miles inland are acclimated to more salt. Well, this stuff is liberated at the exact same venue, right? Very important. You have to get off the coastline at least a few hundred miles. But also you got to kind of remember what just happened. They got the Hurricane Matthews, 155 mile an hour winds, gusting probably 180, 190. And that's why there's basically a news blackout on saying the words gusting in any reports on it. Yeah? This is a direct result of the radiation in the water because it's like from the surface to the floor and it's pulsing, it's heating the ocean up. It's constantly also pouring in there. That's why everything is dying. This is the last species of the algae to finally go, the big bull kelp. And they can grow up to 50 feet long. Plutonium levels suggest fuel rods were shattered. Yeah, you bet. And let's come back to that. Oh, God help us now. That shouldn't have happened. I might never find that spot again. Burn all the way down here somewhere. Let's see if I see that headline. Nuclear waste flowing out to sea from underground tunnels at Fukushima. And he's number 223. We'll just pick it up there and frig it. Radiation levels surged at Fukushima plant hundreds of thousands of times. The previous record high, 2014. Chain reaction, see? And that's why the ocean can't recover. That's why the coastline looks like that. And this is the wild open side. We happen to have good weather for the top end, but it was a horror show, the whole coastline after that. Remember that? I was just places I couldn't even eat for 24 hours. Couldn't even have a cup of tea. It was so rough. I was like, literally, I got pounded the entire West Coast except for this spot up here. Worst you've ever seen. 2014, fishermen talking about Fukushima convinced it has something to do with it. Salmon not showing up. Many have lesions, worms, parasites, crabs more easily damaged. Dead catch, increasing herring, cod, halibut, pollock. Catches all dropped off the cliff. That's because the sardines, the herring, the anchovies, the squid, the krill, and everything else disappeared first. And then they're cannibalizing each other. That's why they're still alive. But most of the stuff left is the bullheads, what you're finding in the kelp. Anyway, that's what I got on underwater footage. The fisher says extremely high radiation level pouring out of Fukushima problem can't be fundamentally solved. Parts of the plant overloaded with typhoon. Yeah. And it gets across here in 45 days, and look at it. Those handful of species disappears naked. Right? Naked. Oh, God, what have I got done? Okay, I know it's TV1. No, that didn't work. Oh, yeah, there you go. So the coastline doesn't look like that at low tide. Say, do it. You see that anywhere? You see that stuff on the rocks I'm at? You see that stuff on the rocks? You see that on the rocks, yeah? No, you don't, right? And these white sea anemones should cover everything. These starfish and the sea anemones, they should be all over that beach, yeah? And low tide, all the rock piles should look like that and like this. That vibrance, that color. Oh, it looks like this. Just a little handful. Not 600 algae, not 5,600 highly visible species, but a handful. They disappear, it's gone. That's the end of it, and it will. Millions of fish found dead on the California coast. 3 major fish kills in 2 weeks. Unidentified goo, please clear the beach. Yeah. And that cleared this. Millions of fish dead on the Oregon coast. Can't blame people for being alarmed. Yeah, no, because it all gone. See, you won't see it anymore. You might see the last couple of die-offs happen, but that's about it. So I was going through the pictures of a couple of thousand of that spot, and that's what we're looking at tonight. These are from the Fukushima Expeditions for Life. Mysterious phenomenon off the U.S. West Coast. Fish disappeared. Whales nearly absent. 48 last year died. They all starved to death. 12 inches of blubber down to 4 inches. No krill. No. And we done the whole coastline. We didn't see any migratory. And it was only here in this one spot where we counted 7,000 birds. Roughly. We got that on video. We showed that before. The rest of the coastline. Now, normally we get that much in a square mile. And I done 15,000 miles. All I seen total was around 14,000 birds, but they were over 260 days total. High rates of egg failures. Remember, we're breeding colonies in Florida. And Florida's going to get pounded. Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and then America, they're going to get pounded with some serious storm. And I guarantee you just see what happened to China, 230 mile an hour wind. 500,000 trees tore down. I've never seen nothing like that on the planet ever. Discovery Channel used to put videos like that out about Mars, but not about Earth. Now, in the last couple of years, we've seen 6 of those storms. Right? The Philippines was 240 mile an hour gust. Now, that's what they confirm. But it was most likely 260, 270. I got videos there from China, people hanging on, flapping in the wind like flags. I put everything in the folder this morning. What a busy day, last couple of days I've had. Brutal trying to keep ahead of everything, get everything up to speed, get everything moving at the one time. You can't even imagine having me arrested the second time. You like playing games? Yeah? Well, I do too. I guarantee in 2 weeks, this whole community is going to be in an uproar. And rightfully so. Like it or lump it, everybody in this community is going to get a taste or a big friggin' dose of Fukushima, because those signs are showing up everywhere in the local radio, local newspaper, doing lectures in the community. I'm going to be shoving it down their throats from here on out. I'm going to bring them on board. I'm going to make them fight for their future. Huge increase, and then these lectures will help fund everything else and get this documentary that we got coming out in the next couple of weeks, get all the cuts done of that. That's the plan anyway. I got to do it. It's got to get done, so I better get my ass in gear. I still need help, though, until I get up and running. So please donate if you can. For goodness sake, you'll find links below my video. You can do it at thenuclearproctologist.org with your credit cards and PayPal, danadurnford@hotmail.com. You'll find a hyperlink directly to my account at PayPal, so you know you absolutely got me under my videos. And I'll be saying the same thing to everybody at these lectures. They got to push me out there. They got to fight back. They got to make a stand. We got to have a conversation the country needs to know. We need to give a documentary to everybody in Canada by rights, see? And that would cost like $1 million for me to pull off. And I do it. First $1 million I can get my hands on, that's what I'll be doing with it. Everybody in Canada finds out if I was lucky enough to pull that off. An actual hard copy. No games with here. Aerosol 100,000 times normal in Washington. That's game over for Washington forever and ever. That's a dirty bomb went off in Washington, but it never stopped coming at it. Zoe. She had a heart attack a few months back on the boat and died. Tough. She was out there on every beach, man. She pooped on every beach. Plutonium from Fukushima went further. That was about the only thing there with a bit of color. Was Zoe on the beaches. When I go through all these pictures every day, that's all I see, right? The colors is Zoe's the only thing that stands out on any, no matter where she to, even a bad picture, she stands out as the only color on the beach every time, you know? And the coastline is naked. You can't eat anything out of the ocean. Scientists alarmed by the new mystery diseases couldn't believe me eyes. The scientists were stumped. It's kind of an alien thing. 5 minutes to go. Let's burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, Dana. Burn, Dana. Nothing at the top. The flounder floor is all gone. All the algae that live at the high tide zone are gone. All the flounder the floor, all the sea anemones that are designed to live just slightly out of the high tide lines and get sprayed with water only, they're all gone. The whole coastline. Every one of them gone. And then at the low tide line is just a handful of species. Mysterious die of young salmon. First they were healthy, then they puked and died. No plankton, right? I got demonized. We took down 300 of my videos because of court orders. These types of videos, yeah? They don't like me talking about it. But I keep going. You arrest me over and over. I don't care. You arrest me over and over. I don't care. I'll keep coming back. Nothing I can do about it. I mean, that's all they can do to me is keep arresting me and demonize me and vilifying me for things I didn't even do in order to try to discredit me. I didn't do nothing wrong. It's not illegal to do anything I done, so that's why we have appeals. That's why we have civil suits coming up for all of them. All of them. Everything involved in it. Right to the first court appearance. I'm coming after everything out there. Unfortunately, the fuel itself is exposed. Oh, it's game on now. I think you're going to arrest me twice and I'm not going to fire back. Oh, you got no idea what's coming your ways. You got away with it long enough. Your time is up. That's the fact. Get used to it. We're the winning team, period. The plume of water tainted with radiation is reaching to the other side. Yeah, because it takes 45 days because the jet streams are real. The ocean currents are real. Let's burn another 7 or 8 and then we'll come back over and say good night to everybody. All you see is the stupid little red, bless their hearts, and purple, which is the same family, sea urchin. Seemingly benign virus on the West Coast, ecological upheaval. They'll blame it on anything but Fukushima. Oh, not Fukushima. Everything's gone. Yeah, but there's a couple of species left, so it's okay, Dana. No, the 4.2 million other species didn't receive the coastline. We had an event. We're having supercell storms showing up everywhere, ripping the. You can't hide away from it no matter what you want to do. All the propaganda machines on the planet can't hide away from what you got done. It can't be done. We got to face it. The anger is going to be worse the longer it takes. You can't hide it any longer. It's the most searched subject on the internet. I'm censored. That's why I'm not showing up. That's why I don't get the numbers. They took away 4,500 of my subscribers a few years ago, right? In just less than a month and a half. Just jacked 4,500 subscribers. People are still not. You got to save me to a bookmark. That's how you find me. Come and check. You have to do that, or otherwise you're going to forget about it. You have to do the right moral and ethical thing. You have to learn. You have to fight back. You have to learn to protect yourself. And when we're in a position where we have security, we can talk about all of these things. But right now we have to talk about the urgency in case they kill me. We have to bring out the information in case they get rid of me. We have to educate you. Because if they get rid of me, then who will fight back? And I have to make sure that you're all capable of being able to fight back. And so what I do is meant to make sure you have that ability, that you have that capability, that you are prepared for the future. And I know you are. And let's come over and say hi to everybody and good night to everybody and hugs for everybody and thank you, everybody, for everything you're doing, for everything you've done. Once again, I'm moving it out to the documentary. I'm moving it out to lectures to fund this operation from here on out. We've come a long way. We're right at the beginning of the new way it's going to be. Is that this planet is going to wake up properly, and we're going to come up with solutions. We're going to stop these reactors. We're going to go to work on it. We're going to treat it like a meteorite coming at us. We're going to treat it with the nobleness that it deserves. We call it noble gases for a reason. And don't forget that what I do is scripted, is difficult, is endless work for anybody to accomplish. I want to come over and say goodnight to everybody. Hugs for everybody. Abducted. Hi, everybody. Jan, Shani, CJ, Amthurst. Hi, everybody. Hugs for everybody. Courtship. William. And William. I got 2 Williams in a row. How cool is that? Hi, Chris. Karen, Sensor. Hello, everybody. Johnny, Pam. I'm heading over to the Jeff Rince's show in 2 hours, so I'll get a break. And I won't have to do all the talking over there. Lots of good news coming up over there. Continuing on for the night. Hello, everybody. Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your kindness, your patience, your determination, and just being you. Thank you for being you. Think about what we accomplished and how we're actually at this point. We're at the point where we can be self-sustained. And that means at some point in the near future, I'll get another dream of mine fulfilled where I can pay back everybody that ever donated for the expeditions in particular. And they can donate better back if they want to. But I think that would be fitting, that once I reached a level, then the first thing I think about is making sure everybody who went to bat got the same opportunity as me to use it again for something good, you know? That's my intention. Hugs, everybody. Take care, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. We'll be hitting another stream because, hey, we ain't got no other choice. And if we don't, there I am. There I goes. 2 Danas in the one show. If I don't, then as far as I'm concerned, nobody will. And so I feel that it has to be done. And not feel it, I know it. Until I can see intelligent people talking about this, having debates about this, discussing it, until I hear it in taxis and supermarkets and gas stations and hairdressers, I will be a busy boy. Hugs for everybody. Take care, folks. Dana loves you. Take care.